Hi everyone, welcome back. Last video you saw was Gary's Bandit. Unbelievable, there were restrictors in there. And he's been not moaning but mentioning the whole time about a kind of it bottoming out at the top end and bouncing quite early, as in the revs are bouncing. It's normally you would get a throttle restrictor. Normally the police, that's how the police would know. They'd turn your throttle and it wouldn't do the full twist, it would stop here. That's how we used to restrict the bikes, and that it would either be in here or on the carb down there, and it was literally something that stopped it turning, or even the fuel injector, it stopped it going so far. Having the in carb ones, the manifold ones is rarer, but they obviously existed. So wow. His drive home was amazing. He said the cables felt a little bit loose, which they would. We didn't really adjust them. I find return cables a right pain in the arse, but sometimes I just take them off. But they're there in case of that very, very rare occasion if your spring snapped on the carb and your throttle stayed open. That would return it itself. Today I want to do a little bit of fettling with the WK, because I've got the new tank here. I've got a side panel there. I want to just check that side panel pops on. It may or may not. It should do. And ideally I want to put the new tank on and dust the side panels with a black, so that they're both the same colour, so that I can get it advertised again. But saying that, I do need to kind of get the fly looked at. I now have a terrible feeling that its compression's going to be low. So I think the first thing I'm gonna do is hook it up to the Harley battery and check its compression. We should be looking at 150-ish. Now the oil's low. Remember what happened? Some guy came and changed the tyres and said to him, "Let me look the bike over." Apparently he did an oil change, which I don't believe he did, because the oil I can see in there isn't brand new. It's dirty. But maybe he has drained the old oil out and put a little bit of new in, and not enough actually. My guess is, if anything's wrong in there, it's that the valve, one of the valves might have cracked or burnt out or something, rather than anything else. I can hear compression. You kind of know when compression from a rings point of view is okay. The piston goes nuts when they're not okay, if the pistons are seized in. And if they're seized out, it will travel very slowly. Whereas this sounds normal, which leads me to believe that there's a valve issue there. So let me do that first. I'm going to get a compression tester on that. I'll film it so that we can all see it. And then I will, if the compression test is okay, fingers crossed, I will drain the fuel, because I've got a pump, and we'll put fresh fuel in just for peace of mind to see what's going on. Gary's bike shows you that a little bit of water in through that tank can stop the whole thing. A bit of carb overflow because it was on prime, a little bit of water. For anyone wondering, there was no signs of fuel overflow on Gary's bike. None in the oil, none in the airbox. There was no signs of it. So actually, I think the carbs just very slightly overwhelmed themselves to the point where it was running a bit rich. Like a glove. Yes, look at that. We've got a side panel. Anyone unsure about the kind of pricings on this bike? I've lost money at this stage. Kind of. If you think about, I took this in for the KSR Moto. The KSR Moto would have sold for around £1,100. I took 500 off Ryan and this. So I think I just about scraped even with the KSR Moto after all the valve stuff, and then was left with this. So in some ways, but then I've had to spend hundreds on this. So yeah, in some ways I'm down £200 or £300 until this sells, and then I'll be up only £200 or something if it sells. Just yeah, just for your interest. So I really want to line up the new tank just to see if it sits, and I'll drain this fuel into that because this is good fuel. So let's have a look at the, no, hang on, not fair, I'm switching and changing. Let's do the compression test. Let's get that done. I'll come back to this after. Really nice. I just got a really nice message from the late Mick, who's a brand new subscriber, literally half an hour ago. So nice when people come onto the channel and they go, wow, you know, I'm looking at a few vids, I can't wait to catch up on more. I love that. I love the appreciation. If I'm not great with certain things, I'm not great with certain things, but I love the community that we've created here. I love when people come down and turn up, and people are always welcome to view. So yeah, really nice. So if you happen to watch this video, welcome to the community, actually, mates, and hopefully you see some videos. I think you're interested in the Farrago videos, which they are pretty cool. I don't think many people do much about them. Back to this, compression test is in and nice. I'm going to hook it up to the Harley. Now remember, with the Harley, with the Fly, it will only turn over for 3 or 4 seconds, and then it chooses to stop. It automatically stops. So it's gonna look a bit silly. It'll be turning over and stopping, turning over and stopping, blah blah blah, until we have a compression at a certain level, or until it stops climbing, and then we will hold it and make sure that it stays at its compression for a little while. Depending on, yeah, we'll see. Best view I can get you. I'll zoom in on edit. Let's see what we're doing. Not bad so far, although should have died. So I think that's maxed out. I would say that is a little bit low. I'm not sure if that would be too low to start it. Main thing we're watching now is it holding steady. It's just above the 125. I feel like it's, I mean, it is holding, it's steady there, but that should start. I mean, I've had bikes start on 100 compression. Back to, I'm really in two minds here. Really in two minds. I think that compression's okay. I'm going to drain the fuel. I've got a little pump. It's a hand pump. I'm going to drain the fuel. It really won't hurt to try some fresh fuel in here. Let's do that. Let's do that. We have to kind of, for peace of mind, you can see it's held. You'll hear it. It's held. So yeah, for peace of mind, fresh fuel. I might even get this thing started, but I don't know. 125. 128-ish. Don't know. I'm not sure. So says online, anything over 100 is within serviceable range. When compression drops to 100 or less, that's when you'd be rebuilding. So compression seems fine. The other thing I saw on the same thread was about fake spark plugs. I wonder if this guy's put in CR9EK. What did we just pull out of Gary's? No! CR9EK, no way, no way. Oh, we've got a bunch of good ones. Alright, new spark plug, same fuel. Let's give it a shot. There's a lot of fake spark plugs going around. Let's try a new one. I'll hook it all back up like normal. We know it's sparking. It might be dodgy. We know it's fueling. Might be dodgy. Don't worry about airflow. I'll plug that in anyway. Let's just see. I really highly doubt that it will start, but new spark plug is in and fuel and everything else is in. I doubt it because it was running before, but then saying that, he did something. ran there for... Okay, I'm not going to kill the Harley battery. It kind of started there. I'm going to drain what fuel's left. I don't know what fuel is left. The actual gauge is saying it's low, but that's got to be a mistake at this stage. I'm going to drain what fuel is left and put in some fresh. I'm going to prime it, whatever's left in the lines, out through here and see what happens. I just have a feeling about the fuel. It started there for a second. I don't know if you guys heard that. Okay, absolute full 5 litres. The whole thing needs to go in, because if there is something in there, we need to dilute it. We got out loads. I think we got the majority out. Yeah. But the pump, the hand pump, only gets so low. So there's still a splashing in there, but nothing to worry about when you're putting in 5 litres. I'm in two minds. I have a feeling it's the last piece of the puzzle for me. I have a feeling it's the issue, and it started a minute ago, just before you got here, Abjab. So I'm going to chuck it in, and then I'll put the camera back on, and we'll just see. That's all we can do, see. If it fails, I think we need to go back to engine. Something in the engine. I did reset all the valves last week. I don't think I showed that on camera. I will double check that. But let's see.